the command center at precisely 0203 a.m. on October 22, 2025. Over the unsuspecting region of Moravia, Russia, a covert Ukrainian Special Operations Force initiated what would become a textbook case in modern asymmetric warfare. A massive coordinated swarm of 48 AQ-400 Scythe drones. Their primary objective was the Sirens mechanical plant, the critical nerve center and industrial backbone producing the anti-personnel and anti-vehicle mines used to fortify and defend Russian positions across the strategically vital Donbas front line.
The moment the swarm crossed the predetermined detection perimeter, Russia's immediate and overwhelming defensive response activated the formidable Krasukha 4 electronic warfare system. This sophisticated platform aggressively pumped out a devastating 500-watt wall of high-intensity jamming energy across every known GPS frequency band. For any conventional satellite-dependent drone operating on standard commercial firmware, the mission would have catastrophically failed within seconds of penetration. The technical flaw exploited. The Ukrainian drones were running on custom-developed firmware that had been specifically engineered to anticipate this exact high-power jamming scenario. Instead of relying on vulnerable GPS signals that could be easily disrupted, the autopilot system was programmed with redundant navigation protocols to detect the complete signal blackout and immediately switch to advanced visual navigation logic using real-time terrain matching algorithms. Ukrainian engineers had leveraged a fundamental geographical truth that no amount of electronic warfare could overcome. You can jam a satellite signal, but you cannot jam the physical terrain of planet Earth itself. The drones utilized an offline, pre-mapped, high-resolution satellite imagery database, continuously comparing the live camera feed against stored terrain data using pattern recognition software. This sophisticated navigation method allowed them to fly completely undisturbed by electronic countermeasures, maintaining a critical operational altitude of just 40 feet above ground level to exploit what military strategists called the keyhole effect, the inherent physical inability of high-altitude surveillance radars to detect and track targets flying at extremely low altitudes, effectively hidden by the natural curvature of the Earth and terrain clutter from hills, buildings, and vegetation. This specialized technological evasion represented a strategic checkmate before the kinetic engagement even commenced.
The survival of the swarm through the electronic warfare gauntlet was merely the opening gambit. At precisely 0206 a.m., the main tactical deception phase began. 44 expendable decoy drones executed the pre-programmed phantom shift maneuver, rapidly ascending and deliberately overloading the Russian radar tracking systems with multiple false targets. This calculated action was specifically designed to directly exploit the enemy's hardware processing limitations and doctrine-mandated response protocols. The Pantsir Achilles heel, the mobile short-range air defense unit, the Pantsir SMDE system, was instantly forced to commit its munitions to the engagement. Its critical design limitation is its severely restricted magazine capacity of only 12 ready-to-fire surface-to-air missiles in the active launcher configuration. The Ukrainian operation was precisely orchestrated to force a tactical ammunition overdraw through saturation. The Pantsir fired its first complete volley of 12 missiles at the ascending targets, followed immediately by the second magazine salvo, expending a total of 24 missiles, exactly half of its entire combat loadout. The system achieved a seemingly perfect kill rate of 100%, but exclusively against inexpensive decoy drones constructed of plywood frames, aluminum foil radar reflectors, and basic consumer electronics worth minimal capital investment. The economic exchange rate. The cost-benefit ratio fundamentally redefined modern asymmetric warfare economics. Russia expended an estimated $4.8 million worth of advanced missiles to successfully destroy decoy drones with a combined manufacturing cost of approximately $720,000. The immediate tactical gain for Ukraine was the calculated depletion of Russian ammunition reserves in that specific defensive sector, creating a temporary but exploitable vulnerability window. The Pantsir's operator screen flashed the catastrophic status message in Cyrillic: ammunition depleted, reload cycle initiated. This was the carefully engineered, unavoidable 60-second mechanical pause during which the 4 genuine strike drones rapidly closed the remaining distance to just 5 miles from target. The Pantsir system, effectively disarmed and operationally useless, could only track but not engage during this critical infiltration period.
The 4 remaining lethal payload drones initiated the final infiltration phase toward the heavily defended facility. Russia's last line of physical defense relied on 2 fundamentally exploitable security failures: improvised steel anti-drone netting suspended above critical infrastructure, and commercially available low-grade thermal imaging sensors with known performance limitations. The reconnaissance intelligence. Ukrainian military intelligence had meticulously analyzed recent high-resolution satellite imagery, confirming through pattern analysis that the protective netting contained a predictable structural weakness: a consistently maintained gap near the primary vehicle access gate for logistical operations. Most crucially, intelligence officers confirmed through weather pattern analysis that the facility's thermal detection sensors were easily degraded and effectively blinded by the region's characteristic dense morning fog conditions. This fog vulnerability window represented the ultimate operational green light for mission execution. The psychological exploitation. With perimeter guards distracted by distant explosions from decoy destructions, Ukrainian signals intelligence specialists broadcast a carefully pre-recorded, dialect-accurate localized radio transmission on the facility's security frequency. Replacement shift personnel stuck at outer checkpoint, requesting immediate gate access authorization. The exhausted guard, suffering from acute sensory overload from the ongoing alert conditions and conditioned by routine shift change procedures, committed the decisive human security error. He manually opened the reinforced access gate. The 4 weapons-equipped drones silently slipped inside the compromised perimeter. The strike execution with precision annihilation. The first drone executed a direct kinetic strike against Building 7, identified through intelligence as the main mine assembly hall and primary storage depot. The drone's hardened 25-pound armor-penetrating warhead was specifically designed for structural penetration before detonation. The resulting supersonic overpressure shockwave traveling through the confined space instantly triggered the catastrophic sympathetic detonation of an estimated 150,000 adjacent TM-89 anti-personnel mines stored in the facility. The uncontrolled chain reaction absolutely guaranteed total structural destruction and rendered the facility operationally non-functional. The second drone executed what military analysts termed an industrial decapitation strike by precisely hitting Building 4, housing the highly specialized fuse and electronic igniter assembly line. The impact ignited volatile chemical precursors and precision electronics manufacturing equipment, ensuring that production capacity at this irreplaceable specialized facility would remain destroyed for multiple years, potentially requiring complete reconstruction.
The comprehensive financial damage. The total destruction of advanced assembly lines, precision robotics, and the primary ordnance storage infrastructure resulted in an estimated $100 million capital asset write-off. Intelligence assessment confirmed that approximately 70% of the facility's total production capacity was permanently destroyed, with the remaining 30% rendered temporarily inoperable due to structural damage and contamination. Immediate logistical collapse. The mine supply chain supporting frontline operations across the Donbass theater was completely severed. Russia was immediately forced to implement emergency but costly logistical detours, desperately rerouting critical munition supplies from distant Siberian production facilities located over 3,000 kilometers away, resulting in estimated delivery delays of 3 to 4 weeks and recurring additional transportation expenses calculated at approximately $2 million per month indefinitely. The strategic doctrinal shift. This singular successful attack fundamentally redefined the Russian military strategic defensive posture and rules of engagement for critical infrastructure protection. Moscow was operationally compelled to urgently redeploy an estimated 50 Pantsir short-range air defense systems from active frontline combat positions to instead guard newly identified vulnerable rear-echelon industrial and logistics infrastructure. This forced crucial reallocation predictably created an exploitable 100-mile gap in integrated battlefield air defense coverage, a formal tactical invitation for Ukrainian long-range precision missiles and strike aircraft operations. The final strategic ROI. Ukraine's total operational investment was approximately $1.4 million, covering the complete 48-drone package, including development, manufacturing, and mission support. The documented financial return was genuinely staggering: $100 million in direct infrastructure damages, resulting in a precisely calculated 7,000% return on investment that redefined cost-effectiveness metrics in modern warfare. The coordinated dual-strike doctrine. This meticulously planned operation represented merely one component of a larger strategically coordinated campaign that simultaneously included the parallel strike against the Makhachkala oil refinery on the Caspian Sea coast. This represented a deliberate strategic 1-2 combination, specifically designed to systematically paralyze Russian military-industrial capability across two critical operational timelines. The Saransk facility strike directly attacked Russia's future battlefield capability through mine production elimination, while the Makhachkala refinery strike attacked its present operational readiness by disrupting critical naval fuel supply chains. The fundamental nature of conflict has permanently evolved. This is no longer a traditional war of military escalation and maneuver warfare. It has become a precisely calculated war of algorithmic targeting and systematic industrial attrition.